Hello, U.S. History 101 class. Welcome to week 8. So we are moving along, and I'm seeing that many of you are really delving deep into the text and the readings and learning a lot. And I'm reading a wide range of opinions on things, and so keep up the good work, everyone. It's very difficult to stay focused when there's so much to distract us. And from our personal lives to what's going on in the news and in the world and everything. So I just want to quickly, just briefly say something about this week, and then I'll move on from that. So I'm having us really cover Andrew Jackson as the main focus. And really putting an emphasis on learning a lot about his presidency and his personality. Now, there's several reasons for this. I think that the controversies of Andrew Jackson really speak too much of the controversies that take place today. I mean, in a way that's okay. Like, so Thomas Jefferson was that probably our first and maybe last real intellectual president. And when I say intellectual, I mean somebody who really delved deep even into studying sciences and things like that. I mean, that took a lot of his free time that he had because he had slaves to do all of his work. Now, he was also a moral contradiction, right? So we know we already covered the complexities and the problems of Jefferson. I mean, whether we like him or hate him or think whatever we think of his ethics, I mean, we can still say objectively he was an intellectual president. And I think in that case, he's celebrated by a lot of conservatives and libertarians because of his views mainly on small government and things like that. But his personality doesn't necessarily resonate with the so-called average American. But Andrew Jackson was one of, like, the rags to riches story. He's the tough frontier kid, and he's got family that recently has come from Ireland and came to the United States. He as a young boy, barely well, in those terms maybe almost a man, but in his early teens, fighting in the American Revolution, and then just fights all of these tough battles and really proves to be a very rough and tumble kind of guy. He really represents that kind of tough, gun-toting, God and country American. And there is that political strand that we see in American political life that I think Andrew Jackson really personifies. And for some, you're going to say this is very horrifying. Other people, very glorifying. We shouldn't be surprised that I believe that there was a picture of Andrew Jackson in Trump's office at the White House as president, and that he saw him as someone to emulate. And so when you just kind of think about all of that and all those contradictions, though, and those the issues around Andrew Jackson, I think there's a lot of things that we can think about in contemplating where we're at in today's politics, in terms of the political culture that has emerged out of America. And then I also incorporated some interesting history around the Cherokee tribes and Black Americans that many don't know about. And so I'm always trying to find a U.S. history that helps us to not have oversimplified views about all things that so many people do now. So in any case, I definitely have my own strong opinions about Andrew Jackson, and but I just think that it's good to have a really strong understanding of this presidency and the legacy of his presidency, and also to think about some of the things that come out of this as we build up eventually into the unfortunate civil war that's going to take place. And so, uh, if you have any questions about some of the material we cover, if you think that something's being neglected that you would rather cover, if you're a little concerned about some of the interpretations coming out, whatever the case is, I am very busy. I do work another job, but I will try my best to contact you if you have any questions or any needs. And so for now, just keep learning, keep engaged, look at the materials and the readings. You'll see I also remember I always try to post a link to try to show you something else going on in the world. So we just talked about women in history, and I just gave a link that somewhat starts addressing the way that women's suffrage and women's rights were starting to emerge around the same time in Norway. So I'm just always going to try to find a different country and kind of always remind us that there were like some other things that were going on in the world while the United States was doing its thing over here, right? So, all right. So having said that, I hope you all had a great weekend, and like I said, contact me if you need anything. We'll be in touch.